Okay. So can you hear me well?
Breaking up just a little bit.
Okay, how about now?
Okay, I can hear you better now.
Okay, can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself? Like, how did you get into the mortgage industry and stuff?
Yeah, sure. So for anybody who's watching or catching this at a later date, my name is Joseph Johnson, also known as Joe the MLO on social media platforms, but I am a licensed mortgage loan originator. I've been doing mortgages going on about 2 years now, but prior to mortgages, I've always been in finance. I was a banker at one of the local credit unions for a few years, doing like credit cards and car loans, and then during the pandemic, I actually decided to jump into the real estate side and mortgages. So I've been doing that since going on 2 years. I love every bit of it. Anytime I'm given a chance to, talk to clients and kind of educate them on the home buying process is always something I enjoy doing. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and who I am.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of first-time home buyers, like the very first part of the process is getting pre-approved. So can you
Mm-hmm.
explain from a lender's perspective what is a pre-approval? Like, what does that mean, and how does it work?
Yeah. Okay, for sure. So the pre-approval process, essentially what this is where you would submit an application with a lender or mortgage loan officer like myself. We will pull your credit. We would get all of your documentation as far as W-2s, bank statements, tax returns, pay stubs, and we have certain calculations that we do on our end to see how much home you can afford. So we'll look at your current credit scores. We'll look at what kind of income you bring in, and we'll look at your debt, what kind of debt you currently have, and we'll kind of see what capacity you can take on as far as new debt. And we'll kind of let you know how much or the max you can get approved for. So essentially, a pre-approval is, for example, saying, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, everything looks good on your pre-approval. You can purchase a house up to $300,000, which means now you could get with your realtor, and you guys can start looking at homes at that price point or less." And with that pre-approval, we also go over, what your monthly payment is going to look like, what your interest rate is going to look like, and everything like that. So pre-approval just lets you know how much house you can afford, how much it's going to cost you, and now you can go shopping with your realtor to see what's on the market.
Okay. And then when you're talking about credit, that also becomes a very common question that a lot of first-time home buyers have is, what does
Right.
the average credit score need to be? Is it a soft or hard hit on their credit when they do the application?
Right. Yeah. So as far as doing the application, it will be a hard pull. That's the only way we can see the full picture of what you currently have. So will be a hard pull. Normally 3 to 5 points, so not anything too crazy. 3 to 5 points, and that gives you time to shop with multiple lenders. You can shop with multiple lenders within a certain time frame. That way, but your credit will only be dinged once. So if you wanted to compare pre-approvals or compare different rates, you do have about a 2 to 3 week window to apply with multiple lenders. And when it comes to credit score, I do get that question asked a lot. And it honestly just depends on what type of loan product we're going to do. So there are some loan products that actually does let us go down to as low as a 580 credit score. So I mean, there are loans out there that will allow that. Some loans require a 620. So it just depends on which program we decide to go with. I know a lot of first time buyers are interested in down payment assistance or first time
Mhm.
buyer assistance. And those programs kind of set their own guidelines when it comes to that. So could I do a loan with someone with the 580? Sure. But if they're looking to get down payment assistance, chances are they're going to need a 640, because those are programs for anyone who doesn't know what that is, those are programs that actually kind of rewards you or gives you money for your down payment and closing costs when you decide to purchase your first home. Some programs give out 7,000, 10,000, some can give up to 25,000. Just depends on the program and the state. But down payment assistance programs normally have their own guidelines, and it's about 640 or better. But we do have programs. But I do like to tell borrowers, the higher the score, the better, of course, always. So if you can aim for 700, of course, do that. But if you're in a position where it's not perfect credit, maybe low to mid 600s, we can definitely still look at options for you.
Okay. Can you talk briefly about the different loan types like VA versus FHA?
Yeah, for sure. So the main four types that you're going to run into, chances are, when you're starting your home buying process, you have what we call a VA loan. That is for our veterans and those that are currently serving in the military. So that loan is specifically for them, and they have certain benefits when they use their VA benefits to get a VA loan. We have what we call a USDA loan. That is for more sorry, that word, rural areas. So not so much in the city. These are for properties, at least for our local area, maybe Gaston County, Jefferson County, Wakulla County. If you find a home in those areas, chances are it's a USDA loan. We could do a USDA loan, and those two type of loans, the USDA loan and the VA loan, is no down payment. So those are the benefits for those two type of loan products: USDA for outside the city limits normally, and then a VA loan. And then the most common two that you will run into is what we call a FHA loan. This is a great loan for honestly anyone because the guidelines are not strict. They're not as strict as the next loan product I'm going to speak on. So this loan actually lets you go down to a 580 credit score. Your debt to income ratios be a little bit higher. Your credit doesn't have to be as perfect. But an FHA loan is normally what majority of buyers get approved for to get their foot in the door when it comes to purchasing their first property. So you'll probably hear that name thrown around a lot of FHA loan. And then we have our last one, which is a conventional loan. This is your standard, higher credit scores type of loan. The difference between the two, conventional has a little bit less fees via long term. So if you were to compare the two over a 30-year period, conventional is going to end up being much cheaper if we look at them side by side. So this is kind of your go-to loan. If you can get approved for that, definitely go that route. But I tell borrowers, if they can get their foot in the door, if they can get approved for an FHA loan, definitely take that route and do that first. And then we can transition into a conventional loan maybe sometime down the road if they can refinance into a conventional loan. But this one is a little bit harder to be approved for. Credit scores have to be a little bit higher. You can't have so many blemishes on your credit report. So, but that's your standard, go-to loan. So those are the top four loans that you would normally see, especially if you're just getting started with your home buying business.
And then as far as like different down payment assistance programs, I feel like a lot of buyers are kind of confused, like where do those programs tie into your actual loan? Can you talk briefly, like how does that work?
Yeah, for sure. So let's say we're doing the pre-approval process and everything, and I say, hey, we're pre-approved for 250,000, but we're going to need $15,000 out of pocket. This is your
Okay.
down payment and your closing costs together. This is what you're going to need to what you're going to need to bring to the closing table once we, sign documents and you get your keys. You're going to need $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has that stuff. Not everyone has that type of money. So with these down payment assistance programs or first time buyer assistance programs, they will give you up to a certain amount to cover that cash to close or the funds that's needed. So again, there's some that cover 10,000. There's some that covers 20,000. So I've been in plenty of transactions where the borrowers don't have to bring anything to the closing table because they are using down payment assistance, and in some cases can cover majority of what you have to bring out of pocket. So depending on which program that we do, that determines how much we can get. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it covers everything, sometimes it covers a portion, but it's still beneficial. I mean, 10,000, 7 to 10,000, even 20,000 is a lot that you don't have to, come out of pocket on, and that is a ton of borrowers.
And if there was like something that you would want most buyers to know, like any advice up front that you would like to tell most buyers from a lender's
Um,
perspective?
yeah, just honestly, if you're in a position to buy. A lot of people are waiting on this magic crash to happen or the perfect time to buy. When is the perfect time to buy? I feel like if you're paying rent, it's always the right time to buy real estate because it's something that you own. So never wait for the right time or the right rates if you're paying rent, because the rate on rent is 100%, so that's going to your so definitely give it a shot. If you have the credit, if you have the job history, and maybe you're lacking on the money, or maybe you're lacking, always speak to a lender so you know kind of where you land, and that lender can give you advice on what to do moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So, if you need credit help or credit advice, that lender can assist. Or if we need cash out of pocket, down payment assistance to get us covered if we have a 640. So just kind of get the blueprint is already made for you, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of get in that position, or just don't be afraid to just have a credit pool to kind of see where you are, because a lot of people can be pre-approved and they have no clue because they think they need an 800 credit score. They think they need 20% down, and none of that is true. So I would say just trust the process and just kind of take that jump and take that leap to kind of see where you are, so your team can set you up for success.
And I know you mentioned that it's good to shop around with lenders within that window of time, 2 to 3 weeks. What advice would you give a buyer in terms of how to know whether or not they're with a good lender? Like, how do they
Yeah,
know that, like, why shop around?
for sure. So shopping around could be good and bad. Honestly, the main point of shoppers is for those that are trying to find the best in the low rate. Chances are, I'll be honest, from a lender to another lender, from lender to lender, our rates are going to be pretty similar. It's not going to be that much of a difference. I always say go with a lender that cares about you, that's going to answer all your questions, answer all your phone calls, explain everything that's detailed, and not just in this transaction for the money. Make sure
Correct.
they're actually in it for you to win. So if you get with an awesome loan officer and that connection is there's no point to shop. You already have that relationship. They're going to take good care of you. So it'll be no need, honestly. But the only people that shop is if those that are really trying to get a super, super low rate. But honestly, all the lenders' rates are pretty much the same. So I would go with someone that's going to be a benefit to you and that's going to educate you and not just look at you as a dollar sign.
Correct. Well, Joseph, we really appreciate it. You dropped some gems today, gave us some great knowledge. Where can they find you on social media and stuff?
Oh yeah, most definitely. So again, you guys can see it here on my Zoom is at Joe the MLO. So you'll be able to find me. I make a lot of educational videos weekly. So you'll be able to find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, pretty much any social media platform. Feel free to follow and add me on those. Yeah, I do drop gems weekly, so feel free to tune in, shoot me a DM. If you want to connect with me personally, feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text. My cell number is 850-566-8810. And I look forward to helping as many families as possible.
Thank you, Joe. We really appreciate it, man.
No problem. I appreciate you guys.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good one.